Oh, I just wanted to take a minute to give some updates for this upcoming season as the school year starts and you're gearing up for the next couple of months before wrestling season. Thought these might be some important topics for you to know. We'll start with the legislative updates. These are the legislative proposals that went through the process last year of the November district meetings and January district meetings, and then finally April board meeting or representative assembly. And these are the ones that passed. Yeah, the proposals, if you have new proposals, that deadline is October 1st. So if you have any new proposals that you want to submit, that deadline is October 1st. So the first one is the use of student managers in practice. And this is allowing you now to have seventh and eighth grade student managers from your team participate in practice, both in drilling and in live. So they would be a part of your team in practice, but they would not be able to compete. Now, there's some distinct qualities of a student manager on the definition. A student manager is defined as a seventh or eighth grade student from the same school district in good academic standing who carries out the duties of their high school team on a daily basis. These individuals would have to have a sports physical as well as a signed NSAA parent and student consent form. Just like all your other athletes, they have to fit the bill there too. So they have to have those documents in hand before they can practice as well. Next is the organized practice rule. Previously, the organized practice rule was for individuals, which means during the school year, which is August 1st till the Tuesday after Memorial Day, you as a coach could work outside of the season if it's not during the season. During the school year, which was defined outside of the season. So anytime that practice hasn't started and the season's not going, you can now work with up to 8 individual wrestlers. So you can have 8 wrestlers at a time and that not be considered an organized practice. And you can't have organized practices unless it's during the season. So you're now able to work with 8. That number previously was 4. You can work with 8 now, which is, I think, a great benefit. Next is opting out of the state dual championships. Now, this is unique for the teams that are not able to fulfill in Class D 8 weight classes. If you're in Class D and you can't fill 8 weight classes, then you are able to opt out of dual qualifying and schedule up to 18 events for the year instead of having to go to dual meets where there's poor matchups and there's only a couple of matches and you spend a lot of time, money, and effort into just a couple of matches. This will allow you to have more competitions. Now, I'll tell you before I do, that's for Class D and 8. Classes A, B, and C, if you can't fulfill 10 weight classes, then you're able to opt out and schedule more tournament dates. And that number is 18. And if you have a 2-day tournament, then each day is considered an event. So the best way to look at it is 18 weigh-ins. That's what you can do if you fulfill these criteria. Now, I will tell you, if you're a Class D school and you ever compete in contests with more than fulfilling 8 weight classes, if you're fulfilling more than 8 weight classes, or in classes A, B, or C, fulfilling more than 10 weight classes, then you would be in violation and there will be a penalty associated with that. So make sure that you're not able to fill those weight classes if you want to take this route. Last on the proposals that passed is the Class D wrestling district realignment. The way Class D works is you take 25% of the total number of registered schools and put them in the Western District. And then you serpentine the remaining 3 districts with the remaining 75% of the schools. Starting this year, we'll take the 25%, put them in the West. And now we will add 6 more schools that are closest to the West and move them over to the Western District. And the rationale behind that is participation numbers. Historically, the Class D Western District had much less participation as far as total numbers, and they have less returning qualifiers and less returning points. than all the other three districts. And sometimes that was significant. So this will kind of even it up a little bit. I anticipate, based on history, that that won't make the numbers even still. They still won't be even to the other districts, but it'll be a much, much closer, if not um, the same. So those are the proposals that went through the legislative process last year and passed uh, all the steps necessary to be implemented for this year. Now I'll go into yearly reminders and we'll start with the deadlines. October 1st is the deadline for a number of things. October 1st is the deadline for registering for winter activities. So if you haven't registered and your athletic director does this, and really we're talking about girls wrestling. If you've never if you've never registered for girls wrestling before, October 1st is the deadline. Also on October 1st is the deadline for any proposals that you want to go through the legislative process um, for the November meetings. October 1st, you have to have all that stuff into the NSA and submitted prior to October 1st. And then the last thing that's deadline of October 1st is reporting out-of-state transfers. I take that back. Reporting transfers. They can be out of state or they can be in state, but all transfers coming in that are wrestlers that are going to be on your wrestling team, if they're qualifiers and or if they scored points at last year's state championship, then you must report those by October 1st. We base our district assignments on returning points and qualifiers. So you need to make sure that you have all that information to me prior to October 1st. Now, I have included a link on here to last year's returning qualifiers from the 2025 season, last year's returning qualifiers and their points. And you can look on there and make sure that yours is correct. That's a report that's pulled directly from the tournament, so I believe that it's correct. But if you have any transfers that are coming in that were qualifiers from another school, you need to let me know, and then I'll transfer them to your school and bring any points that they have with them. In addition, if you have out-of-state transfers that were a state qualifier in their state championship, I'll transfer those over to you as well, and any points they earned in their state championship will transfer with them. Now, if you have a transfer that is transferring from class to class, like a class C to a class B, if they were a class C wrestler and they were a state qualifier and earned some state points, those same points will come into your team. Same thing if you're going down, B to C or D. Those points that you earned in that tournament will follow you down to your new team, regardless of what class you're in. Lastly, our NSAA records page we feel is as up to date as we can get it at this point. If you have any records, and I've included links on the page there, if you have any records that you feel are broken, you'll need to email me with PDF copies of your statistics showing that this record was broke so that we can verify it prior to making any changes. And then we'll house those and make the changes accordingly. If there are any records that are broken during this year, those will not be updated until after the conclusion of this year. So and records are broken, pretty regularly during the year. If you have any of those records that are broken during the year, you won't need to submit that until the conclusion of the season, and then we'll put those on file and get those changed as soon as we can. I've included links for each one of those championship categories for records, and you can get on there and look at those as well. This is just a recap of the information that's in the email. You can look at the email and receive a lot more detailed information, but I wanted to give you a quick overview of what's in it. Thanks for your time, and I look forward to seeing each of you. Have a good day.